August 26, 2005 was a picture-perfect day, a day one man won't soon forget. As the captain steered his ship, music was playing in the background and other boats were joining in for the big celebration. But what were they celebrating? Well, this story really began with the construction of a legendary ship that would be called the Marco Polo. The Marco Polo was touted as being one of the fastest ships in the world, sailing around the world at record-breaking speeds. On July 25, 1883, the Marco Polo met its fate during a big storm off the shores of Cavendish, Prince Edward Island. This is where Dave Thompson's story begins. It's the story about a block of wood, one man, and his dream.
Well, there was a man gave me a little piece of wood one time, a couple of years ago, off the Marco Polo, and I asked if I could get a little more that I thought I might make a violin top or guitar top or something like that. But after I got it, I didn't know what kind of wood it was. And I said, if I go to all the work of making a violin or something, it might not turn out the sound be no good on it, because I've already made the violin and mandolin and stuff like that. So a friend of mine, Alan McRae, we were having a cup of coffee one morning, and we just thought, well, why not make a model of the Marco Polo? So that took me into phoning St. John, where it was built, and getting in touch with the curator at the museum over there, and he was kind enough to send me a blueprint of it. Well, this is going to be interesting. And chapel. Half Bottom Mariners Museum. Now, 1/4" scale. The original piece of wood was given to me by Elmer Peters and his father from Mayfield, which is about 3 miles from where the ship went down in Cavendish. Had got this log. It had been underneath the main beam in his house for probably near 100 years. But the ship went down in 1883. It was built in 1851 in St. John. But that log was taken, or that plank was taken out of the basement in 1983, I think it was. The book says it's Hakamatak or Tamarack, which is, in other words, juniper. And I've had people tell me it's juniper too. It's a funny wood. The grains are fairly close together on it, and it's very soft in between the grains, and the grains themselves are very hard. It was the world's fastest ship at the time, built in St. John, and when it was launched, they greased the planks too much, and she apparently went across the river too far, across the river and landed in the sandbar, where she was there for 10 days or 2 weeks, and that put a little what they call a hog in the keel of the ship, which you can see I have the hog in this one too. But that's what they figure is the reason that she was the fastest ship, because she was called a clipper ship, and I mean she wasn't the only one made. There was different ones made.
Marco Polo's a very fine ship, fastest on the sea. On Australia's strand we soon will land, bully folks, you can look for me. Gonna jump that ship in Melbourne town, gonna dig in gold. There's a fortune found beneath the ground where the eucalyptus grows. Marco Polo, fastest on the sea. Marco Polo, fastest on the sea. Said the black ball owner, Mr. Baines, to bully folks one day. It's up to you to keep your crew while the gold blows them away. Said bully folks to Mr. Baines, I have a plan so fine. Leave it to me and you'll agree.
It's going to, as far as I know, about 2 inches long to get the 2 inches long to get the what I want. Then I'm going to have to split them again. Yeah, that's going to be close. Perhaps a little narrow, but... it's close. The plank itself was a 10 by 10, 30 feet long, but after it was taken out of the basement up in Mayfield, it was put out behind the barn for, 20-some years or whatever, and it all rotted away, that it was really just a round piece of wood. It happened to be the center of the tree too, the heart of the tree, but it was 7 inches in diameter, and the piece I got was 10 inches long. So I just took the axe and chopped it in two, and it was full of ants. And anyway,
so you managed to salvage a little piece of it anyway.
Yeah, we just got pieces and put it through the bandsaw, the little bandsaw I have, and made the planks.
Better than your last one.
Yeah.
You can probably pull a couple of pieces out of that, can you? That was a good shot. See what the blade is doing.
The Illustrated London News, February the 19th, 1853. When the tide of emigration from this country first set in towards the gold regions of Australia, it experienced a great check, which is the length and tedium of the voyage. The ships which had previously been engaged in the trade to Australia were generally better calculated for carrying cargo than for speed, or the capability of affording comfortable accommodation for passengers, whilst from 100 to 120 days were actually consumed on the voyage out. In the meantime, however, a noble British ship, the Marco Polo, had already sailed from the Mersey and was destined to achieve a triumph over both sailing vessels and steamers greater than had ever before been considered possible by nautical men. The Marco Polo sailed from Liverpool with a complement of passengers on the 4th of July for Port Phillip, and made the voyage out in the unprecedentedly short space of 68 days, and the passage home in 74 days. Allowing for 28 days spent in unloading and loading at Port Phillip, only 5 months and 21 days elapsed from her leaving and regaining the shores of Great Britain. On the 10th of August, the Marco Polo was in latitude 32 west, bound for Port Phillip by the Cape of Good Hope. And on the 11th of November, she was again in latitude 32 west on her return by Cape Horn, having thus sailed round the world in 2 months and 8 days.
The distinguishing feature of the Marco Polo is the peculiarity of her hull. Her lines fore and aft are beautifully fine. Her bearings are brought well down to the bilge. Thus, while she makes amidships a displacement that will prevent unnecessary careening, she has an entrance as sharp as a steamboat's and a run as clean as can be conceived. Below the draft line, her bows are hollow, but aloft she swells out handsomely, which gives ample space on the top-gallant forecastle. In fact, with a bottom like a yacht, she has aloft all the appearance of a frigate. The length of the Marco Polo from stem to stern inside measurement is 185 feet. But overall she will make considerably more. Her beam is 38 feet, and her depth of hold from the coamings 30 feet. Her register tonnage is 1,625, but her burthen will considerably exceed 2,000 tons. On deck, forward of the poop, which is used as the ladies' cabin, is a home on deck to be used as a dining saloon. It is sealed with maple, and the pilasters are panelled with richly ornamented and silvered glass. Coins of various countries being a novel feature of the decorations. Between each pilaster is a circular aperture, about 6 feet in circumference, for light and ventilation. Over it is placed a sheet of plate glass with a cleverly painted picturesque view in the center, with a framework of foliage and scroll in opaque colors and gold. Messrs. James Baines and Company of Liverpool are the enterprising owners of the Marco Polo, which was built by Mr. Smith of St. John, New Brunswick. She is commanded by Captain Forbes and is announced to sail for Melbourne on March the 5th.
have a list of about 70 people want to come with us, and we're hoped to have a band aboard the ship and sound system, Sober's Music donated, and leave the Stanley Bridge and go out. And I'd like to take a minister or priest or I suppose with us and have a little ceremony and sail her right over the top of the where it originally sank. And I can't call it the Marco Polo #2 because it really is the Marco Polo. It'll be 122 years pretty near to the day.
I'm sure Dave Thompson never thought this day would ever come. After spending 3 winters and over 750 intricate, detailed hours constructing the legendary Marco Polo. Lots of family and friends gathered together in Stanley Bridge for the big celebration. And a convoy of boats sailed out to the watery grave of the sunken Marco Polo to witness the launch of its rebirth.
Tommy Gallant, the man that found her in Cavendish, he was a fisherman, and he was fishing out of Stanley Bridge about 5 miles from Cavendish. And his father told him, he said, Tommy, he said, someday, he said, you're going to find the Marco Polo fishing in that area. And this day, his trap, one of the traps got caught in something, and he looked down. It was just one of them perfect days. The sun was shining right down, and they could see the whole remains of the ship laying there. And Tommy told me that himself just a few weeks ago.
That worked. Just wave at people applauding there. Look up here. I got it here.
Okay, I lost it. There you go.
How's the fishing?
At the Marsh Creek waters meet
How did
Courtney
you think this day
Bay.
ever come?
Heave around and let her fly.
James Smith yard a keel did lay.
There's no ship here can match her.
She was launched with a groan and thud.
She's like a demon sailing by.
She stuck 2 weeks in the Marsh Creek mud.
There's no ship here can catch her.
And it's Liverpool in 15 days. The 7 seas a name will praise. The wind in her hair and her sails unfurled. She's the fastest ship in all the world. And her name is Marco Polo. The keel's all bent, she'll never sail.
Heave around and let her fly.
James Smith's hopes are doomed to fail.
There's no ship here can match her.
He's felt the wrath of jeers and scorn.
She's like a demon sailing by.
Through the pain the legend's born.
There's no ship here can catch her.
And it's Liverpool in 15 days. The 7 seas a name will praise. The wind in her hair and her sails unfurled. She's the fastest ship in all the world. And her name is Marco Polo. To the Black Ball line she soon was sold.
Heave around and let her fly.
Australia bound in search of gold.
There's no ship here can match her.
She was ruled with an iron hand.
She's like a demon sailing by.
When Bully Forbes was in command.
There's no ship here
I'll give her a kiss.
And it's Liverpool in 15 days. The 7 seas and names will praise. Wind in her hair and her sails unfurled. She's the fastest ship in all the world. And her
Hold her up
name
for
is
me.
Marco Polo. In 68 days to Melbourne town.
Don't forget to smile.
The waves will echo.
You're the captain this one, Dave.
Well, she didn't sink anyway.
That's the main thing.
That's right.
From James Smith
No,
to
not
St.
too much
John's.
Frenny.
Few divings there, Dave.
And it's Liverpool in 15 days. The 7 seas a name will praise. The wind in her hair and her sails unfurled. She's the fastest ship in all the world. And her name is Marco Polo. For 32 years she ran the time.
Heave around and let her fly.
On Cavendish Shoal she finally died. Her dreams are much
Where's
too hard to
Father
kill.
Kelly?
Father Kelly is the dream.
The Marco Polo's living still.
There's no ship here can catch her.
Thank you for the call. She sailed pretty good. Yeah. So, first time in salt water, and never in waves. It's the bathtub.
Just all right.
Parachute's right up the drop. Doesn't matter now. Hold him to that.
Watch heavy.
Hello everybody that's aboard the ship today. This has been a rare treat, and but it has a deeper meaning too. It's not just a very enjoyable sea ride and mingling with people, but we're recalling tragedy connected with great achievement too, because the Marco Polo was built in St. John, New Brunswick, and it for a brief time it was considered the fastest ship in the world, and so it's an example of what can be achieved by people when they believe in their own country and their own gifts, and they follow after. It's somewhat the record too of David here, but it typified it. Everyone knows here, I guess, that it was built with splinters of a block, a beam, taken from the wreckage of the Marco Polo. And another aspect of this ceremony is in memory of the people who were killed at several times during the history of the Marco Polo. Thank you all thank you, Dave, for inviting me. Down she goes.
Very much. I got it here. Yeah, there she's in the bottom now.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I'm glad it worked for me. I just sitting at the kitchen table with a friend of mine, Alan McRae, and I was offered some wood offered. I thought about making a violin or a mandolin or something like that. And one of us said, let's make a model of the Marco Polo and go out and sail her over the wreck. 120 years later. Well, it didn't happen in 120 years. It happened at 122.
The Marco Polo not only lives on in legend and in song, but now in its true miniature form. Dave Thompson gave the Marco Polo a new life and a new story to tell. The Marco Polo now sits at a museum in South Rustico. For more information on the Marco Polo, you can contact its owner, Dave Thompson, in Warren Grove, Prince Edward Island. I'm Betty Lou Jordan. Thanks for watching.
Beautiful sky, isn't it?